About 5 years ago, I was driving late at night after a long trip. I was tired and using GPS because I did not fully know the route. At one point, the GPS changed the route and told me to take a different exit. I followed it. For about 45 minutes, everything seemed normal. Then I drove into very thick fog. I could barely see the road. The road felt strange, and when the fog cleared, I noticed the highway seemed raised high above the ditches. There were dead animals all over the road, badly hit and scattered everywhere. It made the place feel very disturbing. Then I saw something glowing yellow near the ditch. It did not look like a deer. It looked hairless, dark yellow, and almost human-shaped. When I drove past, it crouched down like it was hiding, but its golden eyes kept watching me. I got scared and just wanted to get home. Soon, the GPS said my turn was coming, but there was no highway there. Instead, there was only a narrow dirt road going into the woods. I followed it, even though it felt wrong. The road curved back and ended in a small clearing. In the clearing, I saw an abandoned church and a graveyard. When I looked up, I thought I saw a dark figure watching me from the bell tower. Then the GPS screen showed, "You have arrived." At the same time, through the radio static, I thought I heard a scream. I still do not know what really happened. Maybe I was exhausted and imagined some of it, but I know the GPS took me somewhere it should not have. My girlfriend and I used to explore scary places at night because we liked the adrenaline rush. One night, we decided to drive through Old Finch Road, a road people said was haunted. To enter the scary area, we had to cross a narrow one-lane bridge. There was a traffic light telling drivers when they could cross. The only light came from our car headlights, which made everything feel even creepier. When it was our turn, we slowly drove toward the bridge. Suddenly, our headlights showed 3 or 4 people standing on it. We could only see their dark shapes. Instead of moving aside, they started blocking the road and slowly walking toward us. I had a bad feeling, so I put the car in reverse and started backing up. Then they suddenly ran toward the car. I quickly reversed, spun the car around, changed into drive, and escaped. We drove home almost completely silent. Years later, I told my parents the story. My girlfriend stopped me and said there were not only 3 or 4 people. She said there were also more people around the car, maybe 5 or 6 inches total. That made the story even scarier because it seemed like we may have driven into a trap. My friend told me this story like it happened to him, but I am not sure if it is true. He loved road trips and had traveled through Africa, Asia, Russia, and many parts of Europe from Amsterdam. One time, he and a friend were driving through Ukraine toward Crimea. They had bought an old Lada for the trip. While driving on a back road, a bad storm started. A truck was following them. Suddenly, a large tree branch blocked the road. They got out and moved it while the truck driver stayed inside his truck. When they got back into their car, the truck driver started honking, flashing his lights, and trying to overtake them. They did not understand why. After about 10 minutes, they stopped at a small shop parking lot. The truck stopped too. The driver got out and explained in English. He said that while they were moving the branch, someone had climbed into the back of their car. When they checked, nobody was there, but the back seat was wet. That meant someone had probably hidden in the car, then escaped when they stopped. I do not know if this counts as creepy, but it was definitely scary and heartbreaking. I was driving home after snowboarding. When I came over a hill on the interstate, I saw headlights in my lane. I panicked at first, but then I realized the headlights were not moving. As I got closer, I saw that a car had crashed and looked like it had rolled into the median. I got out while my friend called 911. I searched for the driver, but I could not find anyone inside the car. Then I noticed an empty baby seat in the back. I thought maybe someone had already taken the baby to get help. As I turned to walk back to my truck, I heard a faint sound coming from under the car. I looked down and saw a young woman trapped under one of the tires. I knelt beside her, and tried to talk to her. She was barely alive, and the only thing she kept asking was for me to check on her baby. I did not have the heart to tell her that the baby was not in the car. Later, I found out that both the woman and her baby had been thrown from the car and did not survive. For a while after that, I had nightmares about it. I was driving home through Kentucky in the middle of the night. We were almost out of gas, so I took a quiet exit to find a gas station. But the gas station was closed. There was a police car parked on the side of the lot with its engine running. I walked over to ask the officer where the nearest open gas station was, but he did not move. He looked like he was sleeping in a very strange position. I knocked on the window, but he still did not respond. Then fog started rolling in, and the whole place felt like a horror movie. I got scared, returned to my car, and drove back toward the interstate. As I passed a mileage sign, I saw a little girl standing beside it. She looked about 10 years old, with pigtail braids and a nightgown. I looked back after driving past her, but she was gone. At the next exit, I finally found an open gas station. But everyone inside just stared at me silently. Nobody said a word. I filled up my car, and left as fast as I could. It was a dark, stormy winter night. I was riding as a passenger in my friend's old Firebird. The rain, sleet, and slush were coming down hard, and his headlights were bad, but we were still driving too fast. Lightning kept flashing and lighting up the whole road for a second at a time. During one flash, we saw a car far ahead. A few seconds later, another flash showed that same car spinning in the air. My friend slammed the brakes. The next flash showed a terrible crash right in front of us. Somehow, we swerved around it and stopped safely. We got out with a light and checked the wreck. The car was destroyed. The doors were torn off, the windshield was gone, and the roof was crushed. But there was no driver. No blood. No body. Nobody nearby. We searched around in the rain and darkness, then went back to our car to call the police. Just as I was about to dial 911, a hand suddenly slapped against my passenger window. A man's face appeared at the glass, and he screamed, "I'm fine. Do not call the police." Then he jumped away and disappeared into the darkness. We were terrified. My friend started the car, and we drove away. I still called the police and reported the wreck. In 1993, I took a road trip from Nebraska to Salt Lake City with my climbing friend, John. We wanted to explore the nightlife, but downtown was almost completely empty. We met a young traveler who asked us for a ride back to his camp. We agreed, but I did not fully trust him. He guided us into the Wasatch Mountains and then told us to turn onto a dark dirt road between thick trees. The road felt creepy, and both John and I became nervous. The traveler seemed to enjoy our fear. Then we reached a clearing. Suddenly, something hit my window. I looked over and saw what looked like a huge bear paw near my face. I slammed the brakes. Then a Sasquatch stepped back from the car. For a moment, I was terrified. But then the traveler started laughing. The Sasquatch took off its head, and it was just another young guy in a costume. Then more kids in dirty, torn clothes came out of the trees. There were too many of them, and we did not know if it was only a joke or something dangerous. John yelled for us to leave, so I turned the car around and drove away fast. Corrected ending. Maybe they were harmless and just playing a prank, but in the middle of the night, deep in the forest, it felt extremely creepy and unsafe.